Hi, good morning, good evening. Welcome to my webinar. Welcome to everyone. Thanks for joining. So the topic of the day today is how to reduce time to market. So, and why is it so important, right? So for anyone who's into software development and into IT industry, uh, everyone understands and uh, that time to market is the key. What do you mean by time to market? Time to market is the time taken from the development begin to the release to the production. So the time it takes to do that. So typically in SDLC, when the development starts, and then when you come into the testing phase, it is usually at the fag end of the life cycle, right? Before it goes into production. So the timelines are squeezed, and you have more to test, and you have less time. So as you can see, it is not an understatement, and it's a new universal truth that if the cycle is going to be squeezed, and there's going to be a lot of pressure to get the release, and that typically happens when you have manual testing. There's a lot more pressure. Why? Because you have to have the team to manually execute all the scenarios. Testing has to be done, and then it has to be released to production. It has to be signed off and all that. When I say that, I'm saying that because not every company out there does 100% automation, right? So with my experience, there's some minimal automation versus somewhat more manually testing and all that. So the stress here today is in order to reduce the time to market, what are the benefits that you get? Obviously, the new features will go into production quickly. The bug fixes that have been there, which are bleeding, basically, right? The functionality is not available, is going to be sooner available to the users. Obviously, that will result in customer delight, and that will generate more revenue, and it will give a competitive advantage to the businesses. And the application is more stable because you have less bugs out there lingering in the application, right, in the environment. So, um, so automation is the key thing. It will free up the team to perform repetitive tasks, letting the system do more efficiently, right? So the main goal is not to detect any critical defects during the deployment or at the fag end, or even worse, during the after the production release, right? So when I say that the relative cost to fix a bug or defect where it is getting caught matters a lot, right? If it's in a design phase, obviously it is a one-time 1x, right? And it costs like say $10. I'm just example. When it is implementation, it times 10 multiplied 6.5 times, and then when during testings it is 15 times, because there's more cycle, testing, retesting, the fix, and so on and so forth. And during the maintenance or in production, it is 100 times more costly than to fix the bug than if it were found during the testing phase or even before. So that being said, reducing time to market will be achievable only if companies are looking towards automation. At least start automation. We're getting the automation started, and then says choosing the framework, and basically it's a holistic approach for a better delivery, and to get far better or faster go to market. So then obviously the end result of it would be the companies will enjoy the faster release cycles, top-notch products, obviously, and reduce manual efforts, and help manual efforts with penetration testing or ad hoc testing, so on and so forth, right? And also when I talk about automation, of course, test coverage So when you are reducing time to market, you are not, you shouldn't be, you should be focusing on also having the test coverage, right? So, and that is going to be achievable only with test automation, right? So that is one of the key areas, that the companies should look at, right? So moving on. So when I, sorry. So TestEnsure, we have, what we have at 𝐬𝐢𝐭𝐻, we have a product called TestEnsure, which is a test automation platform. It's a easy test execution. So be it developers, be it architects, BAs, non-technical person also will be able to quickly execute. So that execution part, when it goes into more users, that will become, that will improve, or that will add to reducing your time to market, because you have automated, you have the scripts ready, you want to execute, boom, for the release, you select the release, and then if it's a minor, major, select your project, select your scope, basically scope of your test coverage, with the number of modules that you want to execute, or and then start execution. So that will help a lot. So when I say execution happens, manually execution happens, then automation happens. Then in order to accelerate, you have to have CACD process in place. So when I say CACD, basically it is a continuous delivery of integration, and then delivery, and then deployment, right? So you have to build on regular basis, and every time the code is pushed or committed, then it has to go through the smoke test cycle. Then check-in code will be merged if the smoke test pass, and then the release release will go into the repository for the deployment into production, or any other environment, from say development to QA to staging to production, so on and so forth. So with the TestEnsure CACD process, we have some things called test case tagging, which is basically helping with when you are executing. When you have, for example, I'm giving an example of one of the projects that we worked on, where we have 8,000. The regression suite itself is 8,000 cases, right? So in order to execute, and you want to quick delivery, or time to market, you cannot have 8,000 executed in say in few days, right? So of course, if it is a feature release, then of course, if you have to execute all, you will execute, and there's an option to execute parallelly. So we have that feature as well, where TestEnsure will help achieving that objective as well. So then when you have these executions, you do the tagging, right? So when I say tagging, it is basically the test cases, or that is tagged to a particular item, or a particular module, particular like smoke test, or some like say change resolution for that particular release, right? Core component. So all that will be tagged, and then we can pick and choose and execute only the cases that meet the tag criteria that you have chosen, right? So that way it will again save the release cycle, and then the results are delivered upon completion very quickly, real time, where the developers can look into the issues or the defects and then fix, and then the turnaround will be really faster for the re-execution, retest. So when you retest or re-execute, then only the failed cases can be executed again with using the dependency clauses that we have. That also TestEnsure enables, where only the failed cases will be executed, not the whole. Like if you have like 80 test cases in one flow, then only if 10 of the test cases have failed, only those 10 will be executed, provided there's no other bigger dependency or test cases to be executed first. And then, of course, when I say parallel execution, then and then cross-browser execution. So all these will be available as well. And then the most important thing is dashboards and traceability. The traceability, when I say when you execute the test, the results are displayed real time, and then once upon the execution, then anyone who's the stakeholder can take a look and say, hey, this is where the issue is, and then these are the even you can have the predictive analysis of weakest link in the application or in the code, right? So it ensures automation is basically test driven development, making your fundamental changes and to achieve your goals. So that's one of the areas we need to it will be addressed, right? And then the process should be really efficient enough to cover all the aspects, such as code analysis, as well as usability of the features, also the functional, and then the performance, as well as the regression, and also the stability of the actual tests as well, right? And then by doing so, the folks who are actually the testers, or whoever the IT, the Scrum Agile team working on this project can spend their time doing the exploratory testing, and and also the plans for continuous improvement. So also I want to quickly talk about constraints impacting time to market. Obviously, I talked about the manual testing. Of course, where there's no automation, there's a no-brainer, right? And then but some companies are there still. I know do most of the testing manually, so they need to look at automation. So TestEnsure will help having achieved level 0 to level 3, what we call. So level 0 is manual testing, no automation, some automation, then we have full automation, then you have automation with CACD, right? Where you achieve the faster bug issue and results, which are test results can be real time, then faster regression tests can be executed, then assessment of the software quality can be assessed quickly. Again, as I mentioned earlier, because the defect found where, at what point in SDLC will matter a lot, from the cost perspective, and also customer delight, right? So these are the things that basically in Silotech, we really have experience with a multitude of projects where we have encountered a lot of gaps in the system, where either the end-to-end execution is not happening, or whether you have the no smoke tests created. So how you approach in order to reduce your time to market, how you approach, right? So first you pick your core module tests, right? The scenarios that you want to execute, which are the highly visible or highly costly if there's any bug associated in that functionality. So you pick and choose those, and you automate that, right? And then we have something called accelerators, right? So when I say accelerators, these are automation accelerators. So these accelerators will help achieve the time to market by reducing the time taken for automation. So we have the usability out of the box utilities that are being developed already, that can be plugged in. Also the APIs, also the to the test defect tracking systems, and also the nevertheless to say the report portal which is actually a report generating application, which is tied to TestEnsure, where you can see the widgets with the test execution result summary, and then with with all the breakdown of your modules tests that have been executed, and that can be taken through and say, okay, what areas that needs to be put thought into in bug fixes, or any type of fixes, or even it can arise with changes to the how it has been developed. Maybe the development itself did not take a lot of consideration, so there is some faulty code that is in place which has to be rewritten, right? So that kind of insight will be provided if you have that detailed insight into the data that is being that comes out of that execution results, right? So when I say that, that will be basically achievable when you have modular and reusable test scripts. So we have the framework has been built such a way that it is highly scalable and flexible, easy to maintain as well. So if there is some change in say web application, you have a certain flow, and then there's a change of a UI element, so you don't have to rewrite the whole script, right? So only that change that has been added, maybe a field got added, maybe a drop down, maybe a combo, or maybe the workflow involved, right? So all those pieces can be added and then very quickly re-executed and see whether it is working, whether it is backward or forward compatible or not. So that way you will have more time early on. So this is all helping to fail fast, right? So this helps to fail fast so that the bugs are encountered early on, and we can address those issues early on. So this will be only possible with with the accelerators, and also with CI/CD that I have mentioned. So when I talk about accelerators, we have compatibility plugins that I talked about, and then artifacts. Then if it's like a ERP, like Infor or Oracle or any other ERP, we have pre-built accelerators, which are nothing but out of a box standard tool set that can be plugged in and say whether it is working or not, and all the customizations can be built upon it, on top of it, right? So that being said, it will be really helpful in reducing the time to market goals, and then achieving the time to market goals by increasing the test coverage as well. So when you have the test coverage, when I talk about test coverage, definitely when you have like thousands of test cases that has to be executed, definitely automation and TestEnsure we were able to achieve with a lot of customers, and happy customers with our CACD integration and the pipeline setup, and obviously following the industry best practices as well, right? So this is a very high level overview of how we can achieve time to market, and then one of the someone here posed a question that this automation is for front end only or back end as well. Of course, this is both for front end as well as back end. So we have the database plugins as well, be it SQL or Oracle, and we can do a query, and then results will be real time, and then check that data from the back end, and then compare it with the UI value as well, and see that do that validation as well. So if it helps answer Mohammed Shaiba's question. So I'm happy to answer. And of course, we are from TestEnsure perspective, we can, as we move again, do more webinars, and we will be showcasing or doing a real-time demo as well to show how the pipeline works and how the setup is done and how easy is it for an end user, because it's more like a self-service application platform, right? So where you have user access given to TestEnsure to end users from be it business analyst or be it developer or even IT person who want to execute the tests and see the results, or who want to upload the scripts and see. And it is all backend data-driven testing can be achieved as well, along with front-end validations as well. So both can be achieved. So that's pretty much what I have for today's topic, and hopefully this helped you understand what TestEnsure has to offer and how it can help reduce the time to market. So any questions I will be able to answer, or if not now during this session, if there is something you want to, you can shoot out an email or a message. You can reach out, and we will be glad to showcase TestEnsure platform and how it can be set up, and we can walk you through the whole platform as such with a real world demo. Thank you very much.